We just landed in Japan and we're going to be going through everything that you need to know to have a smooth, stress-free experience as you arrive into Japan. We're going to be going through a pre-departure checklist, the things that you need to do before taking your flight, an in-flight checklist, and 3 critical things that you need to handle in your first hour in Japan. So the first thing on our pre-departure checklist is Japan visa requirements, which I'm going to pass over to Karolina.
So for most people coming from Western countries, we are talking about the UK, US, Canada, EU, Australia. It's good news because you have 90 days visa free, but there's also nationalities that would need to have the e-visa or ATA on arrival. So we are going to put an official website for you down below to check it out for yourself.
So the next thing on our pre-departure checklist is a travel adapter. So do you need one of these for Japan? Well, the plug types for Japan are A and B. So if you're coming from the US and Canada, so North America, you're in luck because you have exactly the same plug types, although we highly recommend still getting one of these very portable travel adapters, because not only does it cover you worldwide, but it just gives you peace of mind that you can charge all of your devices regardless of wherever you're going to. And sometimes even in Japan you can come across some maybe weird plug types, and so just for the peace of mind we recommend getting one of these. And if you're coming from the rest of the world, then you have no choice. You're going to need to get a travel adapter, and the one we recommend is from Tessan. In our opinion, these are the best travel adapters in the world. We've been using them for a year now, and not only are they very portable, but they charge your devices super quick. What I really like is that they've got USB-A and USB-C ports, so you can charge devices at the same time, multiple devices, and they are very affordable. We'll put a link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on screen to find out more information for yourselves. The next thing on our pre-departure checklist is emergency cash. So we're going to be talking later in the video about how to withdraw cash from a ATM at the airport in your first hour, but what we're talking about here is having some emergency cash that is separate from the rest of your cash that you keep somewhere in your luggage for emergencies. And that's usually when your bank cards aren't working, your travel cards aren't working. Touch wood for us, that hasn't been the case. And so we recommend holding around 300 to 400 US dollars. And the reason being is that a lot of people will be like, is that all? Like you're not carrying any more? Like, don't you need to bring like $1,000 or $2,000? First, we don't like to have the risk of carrying that much cash around with you, and it really isn't necessary. We've been traveling full time for 2 years and we never carry that amount of cash. We always withdraw cash from ATM, and that usually is all we need to do. We'll be talking about that later. The next thing on your pre-departure checklist is to make sure that your phone is unlocked. This is incredibly important to be able to use an eSIM or a physical SIM card to get data to be connected to the internet. Traveling in Japan without internet on your phone is going to be incredibly difficult. So you want to make sure that your phone is unlocked. Now, if you don't know what that means, essentially when you have a phone on contract with a particular network, they lock your phone to their network. Yes, very cheeky. So we want to make sure that your phone is unlocked. So we're going to show you how to do it on iPhone. So all you want to do is go to your settings, then you want to go down to general, and at the top you'll see about. This is very easy. So you just scroll down and you'll see network provider lock, and it should say no SIM restrictions. Now for you Android users out there, there should be a similar way to do this. Just have a little Google online. And if you're still in doubt, even the iPhone users, you can ring your network and ask them to see if your phone is unlocked. And if it isn't unlocked, they're the people to unlock it for you. Talking about eSIMs, when you land into Japan, one of the first things you'll want to do is to get connected. Without internet, it's really easy to feel lost here. You will need it the moment you land to take public transport. You'll need it for Google Translate to translate signs, menus, and even communicate with locals. You'll need it for Google Maps and to stay connected on social media with those that matter to you. And that's why one of the first things you want to do before taking a flight is to get yourself an eSIM. If you haven't used one before, an eSIM is essentially a digital SIM card that you can install onto your phone in seconds. You don't need to be hunting for a SIM card at the airport. You don't need to worry about losing your SIM card from your home country because you're not swapping out SIM cards. And the best thing, you're literally connected the moment you land. The eSIM we recommend is SIM Local, and here's why it's perfect for Japan. SIM Local partners directly with the best local networks in every country. So in Japan, you're getting the strongest and most reliable 4G and 5G coverage wherever you go. And if you're on the unlimited data plan, they give you a huge 10 gig per day at full speed. And all SIM Local plans include hotspot and tethering, so you can share your data around to all of your devices as a part of your daily allowance. They also have a 100% refund policy, a super easy find my plan tool that helps you to pick the best plan for your trip. To get started, all you have to do is scan the QR code on screen or put a link in the description. Now, once you're on SimLocal's website, all you need to do is enter your destination. In our case, of course, it is Japan. And then you want to browse through all the data plans and pick the data plan that's best for you. Now, to save some money, you want to use our code Karolina to get 5% off your order. You want to do that at checkout. And then once you've purchased your eSIM, SimLocal will send you all the instructions to install and activate your eSIM so that you're connected the moment you land in Japan. Thank you so much to SimLocal for sponsoring this video.
So the next point on our pre-departure checklist is to download Google Maps, and literally without this app we wouldn't be able to function here in Tokyo. So when you arrive to Japan, the first thing that comes to your mind is how to get into the city. So Google Maps will tell you exactly the train, which one to use, but also when you arrive to the city, you need to know which public transportation to use, which platform to go to, what train type to take.
It can be very complex, especially in Tokyo. The
it feels
metro
like
system.
A maze.
It's amazing. It's very efficient, but it is like a maze. And so having Google Maps, it tells you again all the lines that you need to get onto, the transfers. It even gives you like suggestions of which car to go in if one's too crowded. When we actually arrived, it was like peak time and it was absolutely chock-a-block. We'll be talking about that a bit later on. And a bit of a cheat code is that when you put in the destination that you're going to on Google Maps, what you want to do, you'll see in the top right hand corner there's like these 3 dots. If you click on that and then you go to options, you'll see wheelchair accessible. And so this will avoid steps and prefer lifts. So this is great inside of the metro stations, but also when you're walking out onto the street towards your accommodation if you're carrying luggage.
I also would like to say that basically with Google Maps, I can go wherever using the map and I'm not feeling lost. Like I actually know where to go to and it's super easy to
Without Google
follow.
Maps, I don't know how people don't have Google Maps downloaded. And also we are going to be making a video about the best apps that you need for Japan to download before you come here. And so don't forget to subscribe. That video will be coming soon. Now, the last thing on our pre-departure checklist is, do you need a Japan rail pass? Now, for 97% of people coming to Japan, you do not need a JR pass. And that's because they have increased the price by about 70%, making it not very cost efficient if you're only taking a few trains. Most people are going to be doing the golden route from Tokyo to Kyoto to Osaka. You're going to be taking, just a few trains, and so it doesn't really pay off to get a JR pass. Now, if you're taking many different trains and covering a lot of regions in Japan, it's still worth considering because you can save money. If you want to check, you can go to the link in the description. There's a JR pass calculator where you can put in all the different regions you're planning to travel to, and it will literally tell you the amount it's going to cost per ticket, and then it's going to basically compare it to the JR pass and tell you very easily if it pays off or if it doesn't. Next up is the in-flight checklist. So everything you need to do on the flight as you're flying into Japan. Now, about 30 minutes before you land, it'll hand out 2 forms. One is a customs declaration form and the other is a disembarkation card. So you want to be filling these out before you arrive into the airport and present it to immigration. And a little tip here, make sure to have the name of your accommodation and their telephone number handy because you want to be writing that down before you head to immigration and present it. But actually, we saved all the hassle of doing that because Karolina actually did it online for us.
So I did it all through the website called Visit Japan Web. We'll put the link in the description. And it was really good because it didn't take me too long and you are literally entering all of the details that you would be filling out on the form on the plane anyway, so it was very convenient. They're providing you with the QR code that you're going to take later to immigration and customs.
So you can do it as a part of your pre-departure checklist as opposed to doing it as your in-flight. And that's what we recommend, to do it before because it's just so much more convenient and the QR code is really nice. So when you get to immigration, you'll queue up. It took us only 20 minutes to get through, so it's actually very efficient. We saw people with QR codes on their phones, they had them printed out, and we saw just a few people with the handwritten forms that they filled out on the plane. So when you get to the immigration officer, you want to present either one that you've gone with. We presented our QR code and passport, and then they'll take the what are they
Fingerprints.
called? Fingerprints. There we go. They will take your fingerprints and then they will stamp your passport, and now you officially are in Japan. Woohoo! And so basically after that, you want to go collect your luggage. You just want to look on the screen to see where your luggage is arriving. Once you've collected your luggage, you'll actually have to go through customs after collecting your luggage. So you still want to have your QR code or your customs declaration form. Most people actually, it was quite surprising, were going to the QR code line to go through customs. So not many people are actually filling it out physically on the plane. And so then once you get through customs, you're now onto your first hour checklist in Japan. But just as a reminder, if you haven't activated your eSIM by now, you could have actually done that as you landed, like literally landed on the tarmac. And so that meant that you had internet as soon as you landed, then you could start getting all your messages come through. So what you want to do is you want to go to settings, then you want to go to mobile service. This is on iPhone. And then you want to go to your SIMs, and you'll see I've labeled mine as travel. And then you want to go down to the bottom and then turn on data roaming. And then if you just wait a few minutes, and then you'll be connected to the internet. Next up is your first hour checklist, and there are 3 critical things that you need to do in your first hour, and the first one involves cash. Now, Japan is not a cashless society. I repeat, Japan is not cashless. You very much need cash, and you'll be using a lot of it. So when you enter the arrivals hall, you need to be looking for the ATMs. So you want to be looking for the visitor service center. You won't miss it. It's in big bold letters. And as you enter, you'll be greeted with a Nintendo corner and a Mario with a suitcase.
A massive suitcase.
That was such a cool way to like enter into Japan, to see this Nintendo corner with Mario. And also we saw people playing Mario Kart, which was just amazing. I bet you can't do that anywhere else in the world. Now, opposite there, you'll have the SIM card shops. There'll be quite a few of them, and they're not very busy. Very good reason, and that's because the eSIM is way more convenient. And not only is it more convenient, we actually checked the prices and they were expensive at the airport. And so eSIMs have become so much more affordable. Now, what you want to do from this area is you just want to continue straight, and then eventually you'll see an area on the right hand side for the ATMs. It'll be like an ATM corner. Now, the ATM we recommend to go to is the 7-Eleven ATMs, and that's because they don't charge you a fee. And what we really do recommend is you use a travel card. This is what we've been using for the last 2 years to ensure that when we're withdrawing cash, we're not losing money to fees. And that's why we don't need to carry a lot of money with us, because we just withdraw it at very good rates, better than what you'll find anywhere else. So we use a Starling card. So if you're from the UK, you can get a travel card. If you're not from the UK, you can use a Wise card, which we also have. And so essentially you just load money onto these cards and then you just withdraw, and they do it at a very competitive exchange rate, and there's no additional fees. The only thing that will charge you additional fees is the ATM, but again, 7-Eleven do not charge you any additional fees. Now, once you are withdrawing money, we recommend to withdraw the maximum amount you can. In our case, it's around, I think, $400. I would say $400, and that's like a daily cap on the travel card, but that's more than enough. And then you can just keep withdrawing it from 7-Elevens, because 7-Elevens in Japan will usually have these ATMs there. And then when you actually are withdrawing money, there'll be a screen that pops up. Now, this is very important. It's about the exchange rate. So if it pops up Japanese yen, which it will do, and let's say you're from the US and it pops up US dollars, do not choose US dollars, choose Japanese yen, because you'll get a more competitive exchange rate and you'll end up spending way more if you choose the US selection. The next thing to handle on our first hour checklist is something that confuses a lot of tourists, and that is getting an IC card. Now, if you don't know what an IC card, essentially it's a card that you can use for public transport. You just tap on and tap off. It is so much easier than every time you want to take the public transport, getting a paper ticket and having to deal with all the loose coins and cash. It is so much more convenient to use an IC card. We highly recommend it. Now, the question comes, which IC card to get? And this is something that confuses a lot of tourists, because if you come into Tokyo, there is the Pasmo card, there's the Suica card, there's various different versions of the Suica card, which we're going to be going through in just a second. And also, if you're coming into Osaka, you're going to be getting the Icoca card. The one that we recommend you get is the very first one that you can get your hands on, because it is about availability. So when you're at the arrivals hall, you've got your cash, you actually want to make your way down to the train station area, where you can take either the Narita Express or you can take the Keisei Skyliner. And in this area, you'll find all of the IC cards for Tokyo that you can get your hands on. And so what we recommend first doing is going to the Welcome Suica section, which is next to the Narita Express ticket buying area. And there you'll see these vending machines where I think you have to use cash. There's sometimes you won't be able to use card to buy things, even at official places like the train station. And then you can choose up to 10,000 yen. And actually, for the very first time coming to Japan, we got 2 Welcome Suicas and we maxed it out to 10,000.
Yeah, and even if you don't use all of the cash for just the transportation, you can use the IC cards in convenience stores or vending machines to pay for stuff. So it's really useful as well.
Definitely want to be making the most of the vending machines. We made an entire video on vending machines. We'll put a link in the description to it, because that's something you want to be definitely taking advantage of, because it's like nothing you'll ever experience anywhere else in the world. And so there's the Welcome Suica. Now, another thing that we wanted to get this time round, and that's because we're making a video on IC cards, because again, as we said, it confuses a lot of people. So we're going to be making a video, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to find out more about the IC cards. We went for a Pasmo card this time. So actually, there is an area called the Keisei Skyliner ticket office. It's next to the JR ticket office. And here you can actually purchase a ticket, which we'll be talking about, to get the Keisei Skyliner. But here you can also get a Pasmo card. Now, the difference between the Welcome Suicas, the Welcome Suica only lasts 28 days. And also you don't have to pay a deposit for the card, but you can't refund the balance off the card. But with the Pasmo, it costs 500 deposit for the card. But with the Pasmo and the Suicas, it's exactly the same for both of these cards, is that you can actually refund the deposit off it. We did try to get the Suica card from the JR ticket office, but it wasn't possible because they had sold out of the Suica cards. And that's why we say to get your hands on the first one you can get. We did manage to get Suica later on, not from the station because we were a bit in a rush to get to our accommodation. But on the way, we actually, I think it was Ueno station, they had the JR ticket office there as well. But next to it, they had the ticket vending machines. At these ticket kind of machines, you can actually get the Suica card. And I actually got an engraved Suica card. It said, do you want to engrave it or something like this? I thought it'd be like engraved into the card. I don't know why I thought.
But it turned out so bad.
It was okay. Like it was like kind of just printed, but it's, you know, if you lose it, at least your name's on it. I think that's the whole point of it. But if you just want a clean looking Suica card, you just don't need to do the engraving. And so we got it from the machine there. And again, it's about availability. If they don't have it there, just have a quick pop into the JR ticket office and see if they've got it there. So that's the physical Suica. There's the Welcome Suica. There's a Pasmo. If you're coming into Osaka, there's the Eikoka, which is exactly the same as the Pasmo and the Suica. Now, there is one other Suica card you can get. This is not available for Android, unfortunately, but actually you can get a digital version of the Suica card. Now this, if you've got an iPhone, this is the best thing to do because you don't need to worry then about getting an IC card. So all you have to do is go to the wallet on your iPhone, and then what you want to do is go to the plus sign in the right-hand corner, and then it will say add to wallet, and then you want to go to travel card. Because we're in Japan right now, or in Tokyo, it's actually come up with the Eikoka, Pasmo, and Suica. But if you don't have that option, then you want to be searching one of these. We just recommend going for Suica. Select the amount that you want to put onto the Suica card. So the nice thing about this is that you can actually recharge it digitally. Whereas with all the IC cards, including the Welcome Suica, you have to go into a machine and use cash to top it up.
Yeah, only cash, which is annoying.
So it can be a bit of a time waster, whereas digitally is actually the best way to do this. And then you want to add the card, you want to agree to the terms and conditions, and then you'll go through to pay for the card. And then what should happen is once you've purchased the card, it will look a bit like this on your wallet, and you will have the amount that you topped up. We're now on to our third and final thing that you need to handle in your first hour in Japan, and that is going from the airport into Tokyo. And there are multiple options for public transport to do this. So the first thing you'll see when you come out into the arrivals hall is an area that says low-cost buses. The low-cost buses are the cheapest way to leave Narita, with tickets starting at around 1,300 yen. They'll take you into the city, but you're limited to just one piece of luggage per person. Depending on the traffic, the ride can take anywhere from 90 minutes to over 2 hours. So while this is the most budget-friendly option, we still recommend taking the train if you want the fastest and most reliable way into the city. Next to it is a very good option if you have a specific hotel, and that is the airport limousine bus. Not like a limousine where like the rich and famous people would be riding in. It's like a bus or like a coach. If you have a hotel that's listed, you can get direct transfer from the airport airport to the hotel. The airport limousine bus is a more comfortable and convenient choice. It's more expensive, usually around 3,000 yen one way, but it does drop you directly into the main areas of Tokyo, places like Shinjuku, Shibuya, Ginza, and even Tokyo Disney. Travel time is typically 90 to 120 minutes, and it's a great option if you're carrying a lot of luggage since you won't need to haul it around the train stations. You don't want to be kind of arriving and figuring out if your hotel is listed. You want to do it before, and you actually can do this through Klook. So we'll put a QR code on screen, or you can go to the link in the description. The prices that you'll pay on Klook are exactly the same as at the airport. I promise, we checked this. And actually, if you use our code JKarolinaKlook at the checkout, you'll get some discounts. So actually it's cheaper than at the airport. And here you can check for all of the Tokyo hotels if yours is listed. Next is probably the most expensive option, and that is to take a taxi. So you can use an application like GoTaxi, but the prices of going from the airports from Narita or Haneda into the city are going to be very costly. And so that's why we recommend going downstairs to the train area where you'll be taking one of the express trains. So the first express train that you can take is the Narita Express, which is actually the one we took when we first came to Japan last year, and that's because we're staying in Shibuya. So all of these transportation options really depend on where your accommodation is in Tokyo. So with the Narita Express, if you're staying in Shinjuku, Shibuya, near the Tokyo station, all of these areas will put a list of the places that you want to be looking at for the Narita Express. If you're staying in these areas, it is a very quick way to get in. It's not the quickest, but it is the most expensive.
So another option for the express train is the Keisei Skyliner, which is actually the fastest option to get into the city. And we are staying in Asakusa area, so it goes to Nippori and Ueno station. It's the northeast of Tokyo. So if you're staying in these areas, this is the best.
Most people, I believe, are going to be taking the Narita Express because most people coming to Japan are going to be staying that side of Tokyo, but a lot of people will be staying in Asakusa. And you can purchase the ticket from where we also got the Passmo card from. Yes,
and also there's the whole ticketing area, so you can just go there and just ask for the ticket, and they would put you on the first train, and you have the assigned seats. So when you go on the train, you can just leave your luggage because there's plenty of space to put it, and then you just go into your...
It's a very similar experience to Narita Express. It's great if you've got a lot of luggage with you and you just want to have the convenience of having your seat, because there are other cheaper options for local trains as well, but you're not guaranteed a seat. And we actually arrived into Tokyo during peak time. And so when you actually arrive into the city, you're going to probably want to be taking like the metro or a bus or a taxi to get to your accommodation from wherever you are dropped off at. And if you're coming at peak time, we highly recommend avoiding public transport. We came on with massive suitcases onto the metro. We lost track of time and didn't realize it was peak time before it was too late. But I think actually a good recommendation is to take a GoTaxi to your accommodation once you've made it into the city. As a reminder, if you want to book the Narita Express, the Keisei Skyliner, or the airport limousine in advance, and you want the peace of mind of having it booked before you arrive into Japan, we'll put a link in the description to all of these options through Klook. We highly recommend booking your tours, your experiences, your activities through Klook. They are the #1 booking platform in Japan. They're amazing. We've been using them for the last year, and for the next 2 months, we're going to be going on so many adventures and doing so many activities that are being sold through Klook. And the best part of it all is you'll find great discounts there, but also if you use our code JKarolinaKlook at checkout, you'll also save money on all of your experiences and activities. So highly recommend Klook. And with that being said, if you are completely overwhelmed, as a last resort, if you're stressed out at the airport, don't worry about it. There are tourist information desks all over the airport with very, very helpful people who speak very good English. There are always people, queues of tourists going up there because it can be an overwhelming experience. But I hope all the information that we've shared in this video helps you have a smooth, stress-free experience into Japan. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the
next Tokyo video. Woo!
God. Okay, there we go.